Committee regular meeting for Saturday, March 15th, 2025 will now come to order at 9:01. Barbara Collier, would you please lead us in the invocation this morning? Thank you, Barbara. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take roll call and declare quorum?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Chair Superdall.
Present.
Vice Chair McKibben. Secretary Treasurer Valier. Present. Member Mercer.
Present.
Member Davis.
Present.
Member Buffalo.
Present.
Member Gibbswater.
Present.
Madam Chair, I declare a quorum.
Would you please call for the orders of the day?
Madam Chair, I call for the orders of the day.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Business Committee, are there any corrections to the documents listed as part of the consent agenda? That consent agenda includes the February 15th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports as submitted. Hearing no objections, we will proceed to the vote. All those in favor of adopting and approving the February 15th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and the subcommittee reports as distributed, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The February 15th, 2025 meeting minutes, the directors and subcommittee reports are adopted as distributed. We'll now go on to the Business Committee report. The following tribal members have passed away since we last met: Billy Lawlin, David Lewis Supernaw, Lois Arlene Franklin. Please lift these Quapaw families and all families in your prayers, and let us join in a moment of silence. We're going to go on to the announcements. Member Mercer, would you please provide a Ray Property Homes O-Guah-Pah Tikida project update?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have, of course, the same thing. All 16 homes out there with concrete. We have sidewalks now in up to the houses on the first 8. They're preparing the next 4 to pour sometime next week. We have the 3 houses standing on the back row. They're up and standing with shingles on and doors and windows in them. They will be back down to start finishing those very shortly. We also just poured this week the foundations for 3 more houses and footings for another 3. So we have floor and footings, which will be 6 houses pretty quick on the cul-de-sac out there. And there's going to be a total of 9. Then we have made a decision to move the playground equipment, put some at each end of the development, and take that lot there, and because it's ideal, and we're going to put another home on there. So that will give our relatives 30 homes that we'll be able to live in instead of 29. That will be one more family that will be able to have a nice, new, modern, up-to-date home.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, and one other thing I forgot. We had some shingles lift up. They are all laying back down. I was out there this morning. Couldn't get up on the roof, but we're to have the roofer come in the first part of the week, look, and any of them damaged, we'll get them replaced, and then pray for some sun so they'll seal.
That wind was fierce yesterday. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please give an update on the OSU Tribal Summit?
Yes, ma'am, gladly.
Thursday, March 6th, last week, we got to attend the OSU Tribal Summit held at the Spears School of Business on the OSU campus. Linda Davis, Linda Vallier, and myself got to attend. Very helpful, lots of great presenters, lots of good topics, HR topics, strategic planning, business practices, agriculture, food sovereignty, of course, gaming. That's always seems to take precedence in any kind of tribal thing here in Oklahoma. Our very own Michelle Bowden was a presenter on the food sovereignty topic, did a very great job presenting and telling about things she's working on and doing. And of course, our neighbor down the road, Wyandotte Chief Billy Friend, was a presenter as well. So we got to enjoy some very good speakers, and taking a lot of knowledge is very helpful. So we walked away. I know Linda and myself on the way back were discussing, and we walked away with a lot of good knowledge. So it's a pleasure to attend, and thank you for allowing us to attend.
I can't believe all that got packed into one day. Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was a lot.
Thank you. Member Buffalo, would you please provide an update on the Perkins trip to visit the Gray Snow Eagle House?
Yes, Madam Chair. On Wednesday, March the 5th, following an invitation from the Iowa Nation, the entire business committee traveled to Perkins, Oklahoma to observe their Gray Snow Eagle House aviary. I call it sanctuary, but what they did, it was founded 25 years ago by the Iowa Nation. They take in eagles, both bald and golden eagles, get them back into good health, and those eagles continue to live there. They said that of the eagles there, most of them are going to live an additional 50 years. I didn't know the lifespan of the eagles that long, but I guess it is. But we were very well received by staff at that sanctuary. Also, one member of the Iowa Business Committee member was there. He told us how he started there when he was a young kid when it was founded 25 years ago, and how he's worked himself up to being a member of the Iowa Business Committee. And I would ask that anybody that is interested in eagles visit that sanctuary, because it's quite interesting. You can get right up front with the eagles. And the sanctuary is just a little bit south of Perkins. I think we all had a good time and learned a lot there.
Ideal location for a group trip. So keep that in mind in future planning. Would you also provide an update on the remaining Good Eagle settlement funds and current efforts to find tribal members?
Yes, Madam Chair. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt on the street. What's the tribe going to do with the remaining Good Eagle money? Well, in essence, there's no remaining Good Eagle money. What we're trying to do is find approximately 500 members for their checks. Some of the checks are written and being held. The committee is following the directions of General Counsel that all members living with a certain date would receive those funds. And people say it's past the deadline. That was an arbitrary deadline set by the business committee to speed up the process. That was not part of the motion. So we're still seeking remaining people so we can get the money to them. So hopefully that'll put an end to the scuttlebutt about what we're going to do with the remaining money. We're going to get it to the members like we were directed to do.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. Member Gibbs-Water, would you please give an update on the powwow grounds improvements, including the potential impact to the spring gathering?
Yes, ma'am. Well, first piece, the geotechnical boring has taken place for the upcoming creek project for the grounds. I'm still waiting on preliminary reports done from TIPO and from Quapaw Nation facilities to get those back, so I'll relay those in the next meeting, but they were completed the other day. As far as the potential impact to the spring gathering, there's a lot of committees, there's a lot of people who have their hands inside of the spring gathering trying to make it happen. And I'm trying not to micromanage a whole bunch of people all at once, because that doesn't really help. So I'm just trying to go along with their majority vote. If they decide to have the spring gathering down here still, we're going to have all this dirt work spread. We're going to have all the rock spread. Either way, if we do or if we don't. So either way, and I understand what Barbara, what you relayed over in email form yesterday, but I'm just saying what my plan is. I don't know what everyone else's plans are, but what my Joey Gibbswater plan is to have all that done before that date anyways, because we're trying to get that dirt spread to establish a good root system in the grass and have it ready for powwow time and have everything slicked off and start to cut down on some of the erosion that happens out here regardless of what you do, because we're on a bunch of hills. You can't completely cut out erosion, so just trying to do the best I can to prevent any more issues or any more problems, but I understand that a majority vote of all the subcommittees and all the different people who are helping are wanting to have the event up at Downstream Pavilion. So, and that was a meeting taking place yesterday at 1:30 on a Teams call. That's what I guess the majority wants to do. So, but we'll deal with that as that comes through. As far as it goes down here, I plan to have everything knocked out before that date anyway. So, and right now that's all I got. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me and I will get back to you. So it's the best I got as far as it goes down here. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Davis, would you please share some details about the upcoming Gaming Commission vacancy?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee is seeking tribal member applicants for open positions on the Quapaw Nation Gaming Commission. Those who are interested in serving on the Quapaw Nation Gaming Commission should submit a resume that includes your name, address, phone number, and experience, along with a brief statement describing why you are interested and what you can contribute to the commission by close of business, which is 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, Friday, March 21st, 2025, via email to Mr. Brent.devine@quapawnation.com. Interviews will follow and be conducted by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Gay.
Thank you. Would you also provide an update on the ongoing support for the Quapaw Pottery Program?
Certainly. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Business Committee is pleased to announce there will be 2 upcoming pottery sessions. The sessions will be funded by the nation. The previous pottery classes were made available through a library grant. A special thank you to Patty Billings, Quapaw Nation Library Director, for writing those grants. Often entities may receive funding once or twice in a row before being awarded again, so 5 years running is a great accomplishment. Again, we thank Patty. The classes will be taught by tribal member and potter Betty Gatke. The dates and times are to be determined. Once dates, times are secured, they will be posted by the communications team on the website as well as other platforms utilized by the nation. The Business Committee recognized the significance pottery has in our culture. This year, Betty plans to teach how to find, excavate, and process raw clay dug from the ground and use it in projects as our ancestors did. It is a desire shared by both BC and Betty that by holding these classes, future artisans will be developed and continue teaching for many years to come. Gay.
Thank you. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please provide an update on the potential Argo bioprocessing plant planned for within the exterior boundaries of the Quapaw Nation Reservation?
Madam Chair. Away. Last month, we provided information on the Argo bioprocessing plant that is planned for construction within the Quapaw Nation Reservation boundaries. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee and various other Quapaw Nation departments have continued to communicate with Argo. On Tuesday, March 11th, Argo, along with the Miami Area Economic Development Service, the landowner, Mr. Rendell, in Rural Water District Number 4, held a town hall meeting at the Miami Civic Center. Argo and Maids presented information about what the Argo plant will be producing and how it is produced. If you remember last month, Argo will be using chicken litter to produce natural gas along with solid and liquid fertilizers. The main concern that attendees had at the town hall meeting were about the usage of water. Argo estimates that they will be using approximately 100,000 gallons of water every day. Rural Water District Number 4 stated that they would be able to handle that volume of water usage daily by the bioprocessing plant. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee continues to communicate with Argo regarding the concerns of the community. We have requested that Argo conduct a town hall meeting within the Quapaw Nation Reservation to listen to the concerns of this community. We have not set a date for that town hall meeting. We will announce it and publish it in the media as soon as we do. We encourage all concerned tribal members and residents in the area to collect their questions and concerns and attend the town hall meeting to present them to the Argo executives. They need to hear your voices. Your voice and your concerns matter. Again, as soon as we have a date for the town hall meeting, we will let you know. Ganage.
Thank you. Would you also give an update on the 4th of July powwow? Go ahead and talk about that, Mans, and we should have included that. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
if you're also concerned, please reach out to our local and national legislators, our representatives, our congressmen, because they are the ones who are going to be able to have greater input than we are. Please reach out to those folks via email, call, old-fashioned snail mail, by any means, reach out to them as much as we can, because they're the ones who can make a difference. The voices of all of us, yeah, we can create a little chatter and a little, discomfort for them, but in the future, the people that make the laws are the ones that can change things.
Didn't we already formulate a standard letter?
We did, and also Barry provided on the post links and addresses and numbers, I believe, for our folks that we can get in contact with. So Barry will probably put that back up for us if we ask him very graciously. Thank you.
Thank you, Mans. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Secretary Treasurer Valier. 4th of July powwow?
4th of July powwow. 153rd Annual Quapaw Powwow. The dates are set to be Thursday, July 3rd through Sunday, July 6th. Quapaw night will be Thursday, July 3rd. Of course, General Council will be July 4th on Friday. And the rations will be distributed on Saturday, July 5th in the morning. More details will be forthcoming.
Thank you so much. At least we can get those dates out, because I know people, really want to make their plans. Regarding the Department of Government Efficiency recommendations on decreasing the size of the federal government and the impacts to the Quapaw Nation, right now we are not impacted with one exception, and that is a Miami agency realty specialist who was in their probationary employment period was terminated. So we can expect to start seeing fee to trust application, slow process. But we will continue to keep you updated with any changes that become visible. In reference to the meat processing plant, as some may be aware, Cypress Valley Meat Company and the Quapaw Nation have been in a successful relationship since January of 2021. This collaboration was formed with the shared goal of scaling the plant toward profitability by increasing production volume and ensuring the location is properly staffed. We've made tremendous progress, and the plant is it's now in a fantastic position to thrive and excel in the years to come. Over the course of this next year, Cypress Valley will begin the process of transitioning all management responsibilities back to Quapaw Food Services Authority, making the next exciting phase of growth possible. The relationship between Cypress Valley and the Quapaw Nation has been successful, and that success will continue as we move forward. There is no conflict driving the change. Cypress Valley has largely accomplished the objectives, and the Quapaw Nation is fully prepared to take the next steps in advancing the plant's profitability and further enhancing the work environment. As we enter year 5, our mission remains focused on the same key objectives: scaling volume, staffing the plant, and reaching break-even and profitability. This message was communicated to all employees at the plant late last month. It was explained that all Cypress Valley employees at the plant are eligible to apply for a job position with the Quapaw Nation. We encouraged them to apply and stress how much their contributions every day contribute to the plant's success. The most important thing communicated is we want the plant to prosper. We were not in a position to announce this message broadly until we had this initial communication with the employees. The Quapaw Nation remains committed to a seamless transition. We just wanted to get that message out there broadly. I had an opportunity to testify before the House Appropriations Subcommittee last month in Washington, D.C. In addition to providing testimony, meetings were held with the offices of Congressman Westerman, House Resources Committee, Senator Langford, and the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs. We continue to build positive legislative support for the Bear Bill. The goal is to be granted a subcommittee hearing in the coming weeks. And we did get early indication that that may actually happen in the month of April. So we'll keep you updated. Executive Director, Resource Management, Trenton Stand, attended the swearing-in of Scott Mason IV to serve as the 14th Regional Administrator of the EPA's South Central Region, also known as Region 6. Mason will lead the implementation of President Trump's environmental agenda in the states of Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas, along with the 66 tribal nations. This is Mason's second appointment to the EPA, having served as the director of the EPA's American Indian Environmental Office during President Trump's first administration. He and his staff are charged with the protection of human health and the environment in Indian country, which includes all 574 federally recognized tribes and Alaska Native villages. Additionally, he was a member of the White House Council on Native American Affairs, where he served as co-chair of the Council's Committee on Infrastructure. Most recently, Mason was the Deputy Secretary of Energy of Oklahoma. He served at the local, state, and federal levels of government in various capacities, including as a vice president and the executive director of federal programs at OU, and on the staff of Oklahoma Governor Mary Phelan. Mason is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation and a fifth-generation Oklahoman from Cordell. He earned his bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Oklahoma. Trenton, we sure do appreciate you attending that swearing-in ceremony yesterday. Last month, the nation held the following events over the last month. The Quapaw Historic Preservation Program hosted two book clubs, one on February 13th and the other on the March 13th, where they discussed the rumble of a distant drum. Quapaw Casino held a groundbreaking ceremony on Monday, February 17th at sunrise for a new Quapaw Casino building and location. Additional celebrations will be held later as progress is made on the new building. The Department of Public Safety hosted the 10th Annual Guardians of the Heart Conference from February 18th to the 20th at Downstream. Unfortunately, the storms impeded active attendance. The conference provided training for medical, fire, EMS, and law enforcement. Public safety providers come from all over the United States to attend this conference, and it allows them to obtain their credit hours to keep up their certification all in one event. On February 24th, the local emergency management agencies, City of Miami, Ottawa County, Quapaw Nation, Wyandotte Nation, and Cherokee Nation hosted a storm spotter training class at the Miami Civic Center. Training was free and open to the public. The youth program held a youth stomp dance cans-making class on March 1st and 2nd for ages 12 to 24 with parental assistance. This class was sponsored by a grant from SAMHSA. Earlier this week, Quapaw Nation Tribal Museum hosted a movie night on Thursday. This was just 2 nights ago, March 13th at 6 p.m. with free popcorn for everyone. They gathered for the 1992 classic Thunderheart, starring Val Kilmer, who plays a young mixed-blood FBI agent assigned to work with a cynical veteran investigator on a murder on a poverty-stricken Sioux reservation. We also have a couple of upcoming events. Today until noon is the last day to pick up the food distribution sponsored by Food Sovereignty Department and the Cattle Company. They'll be giving out 10 pounds of ground beef and 10 pounds of ground bison to Quapaw tribal member heads of household who signed up by the deadline. So remember, today at noon is the deadline. The Education Department has held several workshops since the first of the year. The first series was a financial aid workshop. The second set was a three-part series for budgeting, and the third series is a scholarship workshop, which has one class left on March 26th from 6:30 to 8:30 here in the community building. The class is free to everyone, but you must register by noon the day of the event. If you can't make it in person, a Zoom link will be provided. Please contact the Education Department by emailing education.department@quapawnation.com. The Quapaw Nation Language Department has held 2 winter language workshops called Deconstructing Quapaw Stories so far this year, and plan on having one more on March the 27th at 6 p.m. Enrollment is now open for this new language workshop. These class sessions are being conducted by Billy Proctor and are free and open to language learners of any experience level. Students will learn about the structure of the language by studying the story told in Quapaw as originally transcribed in the 1890s. All sessions will be conducted online via Microsoft Teams. The link to sign up can be found on the Nation's website under View All Events on the homepage. Just to elaborate a little bit more on what Secretary Treasurer Valier said, so Argo Development Partners, they held that town hall on March the 11th. There is also the Department of Education, Environmental Quality, is also having a public meeting on April 2nd from 5:30 to 7:30 in the Miami Civic Center. The Quapaw Tribal Library and Oklahoma Humanities are hosting a series of Read, Discuss, Connect events where they read and discuss a series of books on contemporary Native American authors. All sessions will be led by a guest professor, and refreshments will be served. They've already had 2 events, one in February and one in March, and have 2 more coming up on April 10th and May 8th. Each month, they'll be reading a new book. Additional details can be found on the Nation's website under Events. The Culture Committee, in collaboration with CCDF, Native Connections Youth Program, O-Guah-Pah Communications, Grounds Committee, Events Committee, and the Quapaw Historic Preservation Program, is planning, of course, the spring gathering for April 11th and 12th. That will include cultural classes, a screening of Voices of the O-Guah-Pah, stomp dances, and an Easter egg hunt, and Indian football, a youth powwow, and a meal. The Quapaw Farmers Market and Food Hub has announced the 2025 Farmers Market event dates. The markets will be held on the 1st and 3rd Friday in May through October from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Everyone is encouraged to bring their tote bags and strike a bargain at the biweekly markets. Next Thursday, O-Guah-Pah Communications is interviewing Oklahoma Attorney General Gertner Drummond. A.G. Drummond has declared candidacy for the Oklahoma gubernatorial race in 2026. If any tribal member would like to submit a question for the interview, please submit to communications@oguahpahcommunications.com. Again, that email address is communications@oguahpahcommunications.com. They'll do their best to include your question or a consolidated version of your question in their 30-minute interview. April is Child Abuse Awareness Month. The plans are to have a panel discussion, TV showing, banners, pinwheels, yard signs, a summer clothing drop-off, plus T-shirts at the Coleman on April 17th. The time is still to be determined. There is another possible event at the Cornell Complex in Joplin, Missouri, but it's not confirmed yet. These efforts are all aimed at raising awareness within our community. O-Guah-Pah Communications and Quapaw Nation IT is offering a class to Quapaw Nation elders ages 55 plus to teach them how to navigate the Quapaw Nation website. The class will start at 10 a.m. with a lunch break and end at 4 p.m. That's on April the 4th at the museum classroom, as well as April 10th at the community building. This is a come and go event, so you don't have to stay for the entire time. The annual Tribal Memorial Dinner is on Saturday, May 10th at noon. Water and Cedar will be before that. The flyer has a good write-up on it, so it'll be made available broadly here shortly. It may already be out for all I know, but it is indeed May the 10th. Just a couple of casino updates. Quapaw Casino, January 2025 was redeeming month for Quapaw Casino. For the month ending January 31st, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, taxes, depreciation, and excuse me, amortization totaled $323,000 with a margin of 16.5%. That result exceeded budgeted expectations by $100,000 and represents a $19,000 increase from prior year. Even with the dismal prior month, Quapaw Casino is ahead on their yearly budget by $67,000. The main contributing factor to this redeeming month was the increase in gaming revenue. This tells us that patrons are still gaming. Downstream Casino and Resort. January 2025 was a worst month for Downstream since August of 2020. For the month ending January 31st, 2025, EBITDA totaled $5.5 million with a margin of 38.9%. January results missed budgeted expectations by $0.3 million and were $0.3 million less than January last year. If you recall, January of last year, 2024, had 17 days that revenue was impacted drastically by weather conditions. Just to give you an idea, it was a rough month, January was. The main contributing factor to the bleak month was the net gaming revenue, which was $1 million less than net gaming revenue last year. The decrease in EBITDA from last year is also a result of an increase in year-over-year expense comparison in multiple categories. They do believe that the net gaming revenue decrease was a result of the carpet installation, the January mailer not being sent out, and a decrease in the number of promotional events for guests. Because guests did not receive the monthly mailer, fewer mid to lower end guests visited Downstream. We also saw a decrease in the hold percentage of 4.16 compared to a budget of 4.45. On to Saracen. Net gaming revenue in February finished higher than prior year, even with one less calendar day, and a budget by 7.6% and minus 0.6% respectively. Volumes and slots continues to experience increases compared to prior year. Sportsbook and table game volumes were down, but due to favorable hold compared to prior year, revenues in both categories were up over prior year. Updates on when the facility will open to the public for the construction will be forthcoming, with the initial estimate still holding for the fall of 2025. The Saracen Casino Resort team is excited to continue making progress on significant projects, especially in terms of diversifying cash flows and providing the best gaming experience to our guests. In the coming months, we anticipate favorable news on the approval and launch of our iGaming vertical. Focus continues building the premier experience to provide future returns for the Quapaw Nation. That concludes the Business Committee report. I know it was a little long, but there were a lot of things going on. Let's move on to the subcommittee reports. First off, the O-Guah-Pah Wisdom Keepers. Grace?
Good morning. The trip that we were looking towards will not be a spring one because we'll need more time for the planning on that. But a trip is in the works. Also, I would mention that we did receive word about the senior citizens classes on how to navigate the website, so we'll have access to more information about what is happening in our community. And we are again looking at classes for teaching Quapaw ways. Gonna go.
Thank you so much. Cultural Committee, Barbara?
Not a lot, so I want to stand up. The Cultural Committee met, as like Joey said, we had a lot of discussion. Majority of the Cultural Committee wanted to try and continue to have the gathering down here because last year we got so many complaints about people not being able to come and camp in their camps and so on and so forth. But we had no idea that the dirt piles would be created and that the renovation of the grounds was going to continue. So that has been, after the meeting yesterday, that has been majority wanted to go ahead and have things at Downstream. The bulk of the inside and movie and so on and so forth that we can have will be in the pavilion. And the Easter egg hunt is planned possibly for the daycare grounds, and then the bouncy houses and the train and those activities for the children will be decided later. The Cultural Committee also has been brought forth, as we were collecting older pictures for historical reasons on dress and so on and so forth. But one of the members brought forth a group of pictures that were taken in past years, back in the probably 20s and 30s, of families that attended the powwows at that time. And it had a moon on it. And they took formal pictures with this moon and background on it. And so the Cultural Committee has agreed, and we've met with the Communications Department. I think Barry might be able to update something on that. They're going to order this background, and hopefully during powwow start taking some of those portraits, pictures of families. And John is also, he was at our meeting. He's going to start taking pictures at the gathering as well as during the powwow. So if you want your family to have one of these formal photos, I guess you need to contact Barry or John to set up the dates and times possibly for those. I don't know how yet that's going to work out, but I'm sure it'll be in the post or on the website. The Cultural Committee also is, as has been said a couple of times, we have requested that we have a training session on how to address the website, since a lot of us can't find things on there. So we're going to have those classes again there, April the 4th at the museum classroom and April the 10th here in the community building classroom, or in here, from 10 to 4 each day. And like she said, come and go, but mostly it'll be, how much you want to learn and how much time you want to spend doing it, if you stay all day or not. Let's see, I don't want to miss anything. Fall gathering, of course, there'll be all of that going on. Also, it was brought up that this coming year, in 2026, January of 2026, will be the 200th year of the removal of the Quapaw from our lands down to Louisiana. Is that correct? So we want to try and plan something. It was discussed to have a proclamation possibly made for that date when we find out the specific date. And also maybe a dinner planned for the anniversary of the removal. And the dinner would be in commemoration of all those who were removed from their ancestral homes at that time. Also, we discussed the memorial dinner. The memorial dinner seems to kind of been getting a few less people each year to attend. And a lot of younger people, people that as a matter of fact that aren't so younger that I've talked with, didn't really know why it was created in the first place. So there's an article about that should be on the website and hopefully in the post. Barry, I don't know what the deadlines for the post articles are, but that will be coming forward, and hopefully all those that have lost people, families that haven't been able to continue to have their dinners in the second, third, and fourth years can attend, and their family members can celebrate that with everyone else in the group. So I think that's about all.
Thank you, Barbara. Constitution Committee, Ronan?
Good morning.
Good morning.
last month, the Constitution Committee, I was overzealous in my timeline. Since our last report, we've received a opinion back from our Stanford contingency. It's been helping, and needless to say, we've been humbled in some of the changes that we needed to face and implement in our document, and we are going through that as we speak. With that being said, our timeline is going to be pushed back 2.5 weeks. So what we're looking at is for the publication to actually be on Monday, 2 Mondays from now. I had the date. The 24th. So we're meeting all next week to finalize the additions, and from there, that publication will go out for everybody else, and we'll be scheduling some town halls the first and second week of April for community feedback. That'll be available remote and in person, and we'll also be, so we're still on schedule to have that in the business committee's hands by business committee meeting of next month.
Thank you. Election Committee, Frank?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Last month, I said we were gearing up to start working on our annual election, which we were able to do that at a previous meeting we just had. So I have some dates for you and the seats that will be available. We will have the vice chair opening, and we have 3 members chairs. There will be Linda Davis, Joey Gibbswater, and Larry Mercer. Those 3 BC member seats will be available. The first day to file for office will be April the 17th, 2025. That's on a Thursday. And our last day would be able to file would be May the 19th. Now, we've also sent all this information to a printer, and we always send out the postcards to everybody. So the information was sent to the printer last week. We should be getting them back here in the next week or so, get them in the mail, so everybody will have this information. But I wanted everybody to know that we have been working on everything, and the election this year will be held on timeline out here. Okay, election day will be July the 26th, on Saturday. And this is our election timeline we have to work on. It's quite a procedure. Also, we haven't forgot about still looking at election devices. We're in contact with the company earlier this week, and we'll be getting a hold of them again first of this coming week, and they have agreed to send us a demo package, they're saying, where we can actually set it up and see how it operates, see if we like this procedure. It would come with a 3-year guarantee, which is pretty nice, and we wouldn't be renting these, we would be buying these and owning these. And I'll give you updates on that at the next meeting. No, the current ones we have right now, we own them, but one of them that was being pushed the last time was a company that was wanting to rent us voting devices, and every time they'd come in and do an election, they was wanting to charge us over $30,000. Plus, they was wanting us to put them up. So basically, that one got, even though, they swore up and down, oh, we would always be there, and we would always handle all the troubles that we encountered. Yeah, that's exactly what we thought too, Virginia. So, in conclusion, that's all that we have to report right now. You will be getting your postcards in the mail. It will be starting people to start thinking about if you have an inkling or desire to help serve the tribe and you think you have the qualifications, put your name in there. See if you can run for office. Everybody, runs for these offices. They have a great desire to serve for the tribe and unify it and make it as good as it can be. And right now, we're going in that direction, I believe. So let's continue that.
Frank, thank you. Are there any other subcommittees who would like to report out today? Okay. Let's go on to the executive director reports. So the executive director reports are targeted to the business committee. If others in attendance this morning have questions regarding those reports, please pose your questions during open forum. The executive director reports were posted to the tribal website earlier this week. Eric Boone, CFO, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report? So nothing further to add. Thank you, Eric. Trenton Stand, Executive Director of Resource Management, do you have anything further to report? He's walking up to the microphone, so the answer to that is yes.
So with the Argo had reached out, I know we had talked about after we had our previous meeting about setting up that tour. That's when the weather all came in, the snow, so we wasn't able to do that. They've since reached back out, but that happened yesterday, so I haven't communicated with them yet. But talking about the town hall, there'd been a few local folks, one tribal member, one not, that was interested in, is the tribe doing something for a town hall over here for our side? But if you're able to, I just wanted to comment, recommend, I'm sure you guys are already thinking it, to try to have that before that ODEQ meeting, because that's then on the air and potentially any water questions, but that way at least folks get the data before the regulatory folks come in to answer questions, so they're not behind, for that. That's all I had to say in addition.
Good suggestion. Thank you, Trenton. Jerry Helms, Executive Director, Quapaw Facilities Authority, do you have anything to report beyond your report that was posted? Thank you, Jerry. Steve Stand, Executive Director, Tribal Member Services, anything beyond your posted report? Thank you, Steve. Charles Addington, Executive Director, Department of Public Safety, do you have anything further to report beyond that what got posted? Thank you so much. Everett Bandy, Executive Director of Culture, anything further to report? Thank you, Everett. Barry Lindiff, Executive Director, O-Guah-Pah Communications and Events, anything further to report? Oh, okay, thank you. All right, that concludes the Executive Director reports. We're gonna move on to reading, correction, and approval of the phone polls. Member Mercer, would you please start us off?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. This was phone poll number 42114. It was to purchase roast stock machine and cattle supply agreement. It was requested by Trenton Stan. He was requesting approval for contract with the company to purchase a roast stock machine. The procurement side has been approved by Eric and Trenton, and Eric Giles has reviewed the roast stock purchase agreement. Corey, the owner, is anxious to purchase the machine as soon as possible, as the other plant in which produces his beef sticks is closing, and he wants to team up with Quapaw Nation to produce these for him, which goes all across the country. So it's going to be a good move for us in the fact that we are getting in an agreement with a good supplier and further improving the profitability of the plant, and that was not in here. But anyhow, the product will be needed to be sent to us. He has been provided a contract that will require a large amount of product to be ready. He believes he will send a load a month for the first 3 months. It is projected this will cover the cost of the equipment and then some. This was sent to a poll due to the availability of the machine. The approval count was 7. It was unanimous, and the final certified date was 2/24/25 at 11:59 a.m.
Member Buffalo, would you please take the next one?
Yes, Madam Chair. It's poll number 42351. Name of the poll, purchase request, ICW 2025 Chevrolet Traverse. This is to approve the purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Traverse for ICW client transportation. The current lease is being sent back and has insufficient passenger capacity for department needs. This was budgeted for and sent to a poll because the cost savings of $6,000 if purchased for the next meeting. This was approved by a count of 4 in favor, 3 reject, and certified on 3/4/2025 at 8:07 a.m.
Thank you. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please take the last one?
Yes, ma'am. This is poll number 42453 for purchase of Marshall's training mannequins. This poll is to approve Marshall Service to purchase 2 training mannequins consisting of a torso and a separate leg along with accessories. The training mannequins allow for the simulation of traumatic injuries and practice of medical interventions to gain practical experience in providing life-saving aid. This was set to a poll so that this can be placed on the company's next production run and before continuing before the resolution expires on March 14th. This was approved 7-0 and was certified on 3/5/25 at 9:25 a.m.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the 3 emergency polls?
Second.
Great. So we've got a motion and a second to approve these electronic polls. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of adopting the 3 electronic polls, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries, and the electronic phone polls are adopted. Let's go on to new business. I'll go ahead and take the first one. It's resolution number 031525-A. It's a resolution authorizing the approval of the Miami Area Economic Development Service proposal. Whereas the Quapaw Nation would like to approve the proposal with the Miami Area Economic Development Service, Inc., MAIDS, and the Miami Area Economic Development Service will provide economic development service on behalf of the Quapaw Nation New Enterprise Development Committee. Quapaw Nation Business Committee approves and authorizes Chair Weena Supernaw to sign the proposal with the Miami Area Economic Development Service. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve resolution number 031525-A. Hearing no second, this motion is not made. We will proceed to the next one. Let's see. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please cover 031525-B?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 031525B, a resolution to purchase a 2025 Chevy Traverse for Juvenile Affairs. Whereas Juvenile Affairs is wanting to purchase a 2025 Chevrolet Traverse for client transport, Juvenile Affairs does not have department vehicles and wants to avoid the liability of using personal vehicles. Recent court rulings affirming jurisdiction and sovereignty have increased the department's work and client workload. Having solicited qualified vendors and conducted due diligence in accordance with current policy and ensuring sufficient unencumbered funds exist, and therefore be it resolved that the purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Traverse is approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, I'll move to adopt resolution 031525B.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve resolution 031525-B. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? We'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 031525-B, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
So we have 5 for and 2 against. The motion passes. Resolution 031525-B is approved. Let's go on to the next one. Member Davis, would you please cover that one?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 031525-C, approval of authority for Saracen Development LLC to utilize the revolving line of credit for construction purposes from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending June 30, 2025. Whereas Saracen requests authority and approval to utilize proceeds from the revolving line of credit for construction purposes from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending June 30, 2025, as requested by the attached correspondence dated March 2nd, 2025, from Saracen to the Quapaw Nation Business Committee and the Authority. And whereas the Business Committee, in its capacity as governing body of the sole owner of the authority as the sole member of Saracen, has determined that authorizing and approving such draws from the revolving line of credit is in the best interest of the nation and the authority, and therefore of Saracen. Now therefore be it resolved that Saracen is authorized to utilize proceeds from the revolving line of credit for construction purposes from the revolver during the fiscal quarter ending June 30, 2025. Further resolved that all other actions and performance by Saracen for draws on the revolving line of credit above and up to the amounts provided herein be, and each hereby is approved, authorized, and confirmed. Further resolved that any authorized person may certify to such financial institution for the revolving line of credit a copy of this resolution and the specimen signature of each authorized person, and that the financial institution for the revolving line of credit may consider the authorized persons to continue in office and this resolution to remain in full force and effect until written notice to the contrary is received by the financial institution for the revolving line of credit from the Business Committee. Madam Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 031525C.
Second.
So we have a motion to approve Resolution 031525-C. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? Let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 031525-C, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries, and Resolution 031525-C is approved. Member Gibbs Water, would you please proceed with D?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 031525-D. A resolution to approve the agreement for purchasing equipment for Quapaw Services Authority with the Truck Center. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee desires to approve and authorize the agreements which has been provided in substantially final form, now therefore be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby approves the agreements and further authorizes and directs that the Chief Financial Officer, Eric Boone, may execute and deliver to finalize the transactions set forth herein, along with any related agreements, certificates, and instruments consistent with any necessary to consummate the transaction. Madam Chair, Business Committee, I so move to approve resolution number 031525-D.
We've got a motion to approve Resolution 031525-D. Business Committee, is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving 031525-D, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution 031525-D is approved. Member Gibbs Water, would you go ahead and take the next one?
Yes. Resolution number 031525-E. A resolution to approve renovations for the Longhouse. Whereas the Longhouse at the Powell Grounds has fallen into disrepair over the years and needs extensive renovation. Work to be done includes replacing the concrete bathroom, floor, roof replacement, masonry, repair, and new siding, having solicited qualified vendors and conducted due diligence in accordance with the current policy, and ensuring sufficient unencumbered funds exist. And therefore be it resolved that the Longhouse renovations are approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, Business Committee, I so move to approve resolution number 031525-E.
Second.
Got a motion to approve Resolution 031525-E. Business Committee, is there any further discussion?
I just have one small piece. Just want to thank the Grounds Committee and the Facilities Authority and everyone else. I know it's been a long time since we've been able to utilize that Longhouse. It's the oldest building that we have. Plays a real big part in how we started out. A lot of different things down here. So I just want to be sure to at least say that much and help out the best we can. So that's all I got.
Anything else? All right, all those in favor of approving Resolution 031525-E, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution 031525-E is approved. Member Buffalo, would you please take F?
Yes. Resolution number 031525-F, a resolution approving the 2025 higher education guidelines for the Quapaw Nation Higher Education Department. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Higher Education Department program guidelines for the Quapaw Nation require revision and approval for organizational guidelines and structure. Therefore, be resolved that the attached 2025 Department program guidelines for the Quapaw Nation Higher Education Department have been revised and are hereby ready for the operation of the Quapaw Higher Education Department program. It shall constitute policy until such time the Quapaw Nation Business Committee deems it necessary and prudent to modify or change these guidelines. Madam Chair, I move to adopt resolution numbers 031525-F.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve resolution 031525-F. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? All right, let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving 031525-F, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Resolution 031525-F is approved. Member Mercer, would you please take the last one?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is resolution number 031525-G, a resolution approving flags to be flown at all Quapaw Nation tribal buildings. Whereas the interest of the government of the Quapaw Nation is establishing appropriate decorum at nation facilities in the interest of the Quapaw people in national pride, requiring regulations and standards for various matters pertaining to the use procurement of flags displayed on Quapaw Nation properties. In viewing of the foregoing, it shall be the express policy of the Quapaw Nation to ordinarily limit the display of flags on Quapaw Nation properties to the flag of the Quapaw Nation and the flag of the United States. The Quapaw Nation shall exercise procurement policies that favor flags procured domestically. Whereas the departments of the Quapaw Nation and entities are directed to display appropriate flags in the interior and exterior of facilities on Quapaw Nation property and at official Quapaw Nation events to the greatest extent practicable. Appropriate flags include the flag of the Quapaw Nation, the flag of the United States, and other flags may be displayed with a written request and approval of the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Whereas the flag of the state of Oklahoma should not be displayed unless approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Approval will ordinarily be given for the temporary display of the flag of the state of Oklahoma when dignitaries represent the state are present as a participant in an event as a demonstration of respect for the dignitaries. The flag of the state of Oklahoma may be flown at all events, locations, and facilities in order to honor or commemorate service in the Oklahoma National Guard at the discretion of the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Whereas the standard for displaying and disposal of flags is overseen by the Quapaw Nation facilities, authorities which may adopt rules or practices to the appropriate display and disposal of flags flown on Quapaw Nation properties to ensure such display and disposal is performed in a dignified manner. A copy of this resolution shall be provided for the Quapaw Nation Facilities Authority to ensure that all comply with this order. Whereas with the Quapaw Nation procurement policy, all flags purchased by the Quapaw Nation or its entities must be manufactured in the following order of precedence. Manufactured and within the Quapaw Nation reservation, then manufactured elsewhere in the United States. Quapaw Nation shall neither purchase nor display any flag on Quapaw Nation property manufactured outside the United States. All flags not compliant with this shall be disposed of. Whereas the Quapaw Nation departments shall take all necessary actions to appropriately display the flags of the Quapaw Nation and the United States on Quapaw Nation property, remove flags of the state of Oklahoma from said properties, and make flag procurement decisions in accordance with this resolution. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee hereby approves this resolution and makes it effective once it has been signed. Madam Chair, I so move the adoption of resolution number 031525-G.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve 031525-G. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let's proceed to the vote. All those in favor of approving 031525-G, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. 031525-G is approved. Thank you. That concludes new business. We'll go on to donations. The very first one is American Indian Student Association, and Joe Dillon should be on Zoom.
Hello, my name is Dean Joe. I am the sponsorship chair for the American Indian Student Association at the University of Oklahoma.
Good morning. Do you want to describe your request?
Yes. So the request I am making is requesting monetary value for our signature spring powwow that's held on April 19th for this year. And it doesn't have to be monetary value as requested, but it would be appreciated. But it also raffle items, and the Quapaw Nation could be recognized by with the tribal insignia through our posters, our flyers, our shirts, and the jumbotron that is held at Lloyd Noble on campus. Thank you.
Thank you so much for describing the request. Business Committee, are there any questions for Joe?
$500 to the American Indian Student Association.
Second.
Great. We've got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation to the American Indian Student Association. Business Committee, any further discussion? We'll proceed to the vote then. All those in favor of approving a $500 donation to the American Indian Student Association, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries and the $500 donation is approved. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go on to Oklahoma Senior Games. We may have had an issue with anybody being able to be here. Is there anyone present in the room or on Zoom that can speak to the Oklahoma Senior Games donation request?
Is that her?
Yeah, Janet Thornton was the contact person. We'll see if we can get better participation next month. Is she trying to unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Is that Janet Thornton?
Yes, it is.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Janet Thornton. I'm with the Oklahoma Senior Games. The Oklahoma Senior Games is a nonprofit organization that promotes health and wellness through education, fitness, and sport for people 50 and older in the state of Oklahoma. We have 33 different events each year. They're held in the months of September and October. And what we use the funds for is to pay our referees, pay for facilities, and things that are cost for our 33 events. You all have been a sponsor in the past, and I've been to the tribal meetings, intertribal meetings several times to talk with you all about wanting to get local games in your area. And so what these games would do would, to bring people to your area through having people from all over. You're in a perfect location to have local games because you would pull from several states. There's a couple of things that have happened this last year, which we got a $500,000 TSEC grant that I have money, and I would love to come up to your area and within your tribe, and we will pay for free lessons for any of the sports that we have. The second thing is that we've applied for another grant that we will find out in May, and would love to come up there in September, and we will have money to bring to your area to actually help you set up and have your own local games. Another thing that has happened is in 2027, the National Games, which is the world's largest sporting event for people over 50, will be held in the Oklahoma area. I'm really wanting to promote the tribal nations. At this point, we have 13 tribes that support our games. And one of the goals is to have some of your tribal members that have competed and will be able to march into our lighting of the ceremony and carry your tribal flags. Like I said, I don't know. I know that the chief has probably, or the old chief probably has met me because I've been up there several times, but I'm requesting $1,000 for the support of our games.
Janet, thank you so much for your description. Business Committee, any further questions for Janet?
Madam Chair, I'll move to donate $500 to Oklahoma Senior Games.
I will second that, as I know we have had tribal members in the past that have been involved in the senior games.
Yeah, and it's okay. So we've got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation for the Oklahoma Senior Games. Business Committee, is there any further discussion?
I asked for $1,000.
Yes, ma'am, we heard you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you correctly.
So, Business Committee, is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving a $500 donation for the Oklahoma Senior Games, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and we have approved $500 donation for Oklahoma Senior Games. Thank you so much, Janet.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is Perkins Tyrone High School Powwow. And there should be an individual on Zoom.
Yes, I'm here.
Erica Payton on Zoom.
Erica Payton.
Yes. Good morning. First, I want to thank you all for allowing me to join via Zoom and to speak today. My name is Erica Payton, and I'm the Indian Education Coordinator for Perkins Tryon Public Schools. I am a member of the Ponca Tribe of Oklahoma, a descendant of the Gibbswater family, and also a descendant of the Sac and Fox and Meskwaki tribes. I am Bear Clan, and I also serve as the Northeast representative for the Oklahoma Council for Indian Education. I have served as the Indian Education Coordinator since the fall of 2022. I helped to bring culture back into our program, hired tutors for our different school sites, and reinstated the Native American Student Association, or NASA Club, for our Native students, one of whom is a Quapaw student. She serves on our student officer as one of our student officers. She is our reporter. We have 310 Native students, which is roughly 20% of our district. We asked our high school NASA students what they wanted from us and from our program, and for about 2 years now, they've been asking us for a powwow. And so we feel like we finally built up our program enough where we were able to host. And so that brings me to our request. We are seeking your sponsorship for our powwow on April 26th, which will be held in our high school gym. It will be a celebration of our Native students, their cultures, tribal unity, and our traditions. Your support would help fund event expenses, including supper, honorariums for head staff and drummers, and supplies. And we did give our head staff the first chance to sponsor contests in lieu of having giveaways to save time in our program and to reduce the amount of fundraising our students would have to do. So each and every one has opted to sponsor a contest. However, we still have several that need sponsored. And so then I'm just asking y'all to please partner with us to empower our Native youth and honor our traditions and heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica, for describing what the organization is trying to do. I would make a motion for a donation in the amount of $500. We've got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation. I hope I'm saying the name of the organization correctly, but it's for the NASA Powwow by the PTHS Native American Student Association. Do I have that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. So, Business Committee, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and proceed to the vote. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation for the first NASA powwow by the PTHS Native American Student Association, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and the $500 donation is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so the next one is the U6, U8 soccer team request. Heather, are you on Zoom?
Stephen is.
Oh, Stephen is.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Stephen. Yes.
Good morning. So I myself and Heather are coaches with the local NEOSA Soccer Association. We are asking for a donation of not so much monetary, but goods, equipment purchased by the nation on behalf of the teams. NEOSA, the athlete fees only cover jerseys and use of the facilities. It does not cover equipment, any other consumables needed by the team. Coaches are purely on a volunteer basis. And we have at least 3 Quapaw tribal members, 2 Wyandotte, and a couple others that didn't send me their CIB card in time. And we are asking for a donation of equipment in kind. How we will recognize the nation is on the team hoodies. We will be putting the travel logo on the front left side of the hoodies. Provide pictures to the Quapaw Post for an article for community involvement. And we are just looking for any support that you are willing to give, and any would be appreciated.
Thank you, Stephen.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to donate $500 to the Northeast Oklahoma Association, the 6 and under and 8 and under teams coached by Heather and Stephen.
Second.
We've got a motion on the floor for a donation in the amount of $500. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the $500 donation, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and the $500 donation is approved.
Thank you very much. And as stated before, since we are coaches with the association, we're not looking for monetary disbursement, just a list of equipment that could be reviewed by Eric for suitability and purchased on behalf of the tribe for the teams.
I think that'd be great.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next one is Miami High School Student Council and Katie Ellick. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mackenzie Roach, and I'm a senior at Miami High School. Every year, we host a philanthropy week called Smile Week, which stands for Students Making an Impact on Lives Every Day. Our goal every year is $10,000, and last year we raised $9,000. Our wish kid this year is Carter, who is from Quapaw, and I think you guys have his bio. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. With the tribe's donation, we will represent you guys on the back of our Smile Week shirts, and you guys will be posted on the Miami Junior High and High School Facebook page. After the week concludes in April, the donations will be given to the Make-A-Wish Oklahoma to help fulfill his wish. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Any further questions?
Second.
Got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation to sponsor Smile Week. Business Committee, any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and the $500 donation is approved. Thank you. Next is Northwest Arkansas Prospects Baseball. Michelle and Toby Shield. Good morning.
My name is Toby Shield. I hope you guys are doing well. I am a part of a competitive Little League baseball team out of Northwest Arkansas. I have been having a great time learning teamwork, discipline, and improving my baseball skills, meeting new people, and making new friends. I am looking for some help with extra cost outside of team fees. I'm uniforms, and I have new opportunities to be in a year-round facility where I can have extra help and put in extra time on my fundamentals. The team also offers camps throughout the year where they ask college and MLB players to come and spend time with us as a team. Having these opportunities give me an edge and help me learn more about the game and my techniques. I really love the game of baseball. It would mean a lot if the nation could help support me so I can keep growing and representing my community. I would greatly appreciate the Quapaw Nation's support to team manager. The team manager said they would be happy to put the tribe's logo on our team banner and other advertisement. It would make me proud to be able to answer questions and let others know that my nation support me in my growth, and hear them say, wow. Being a native and playing with other kids give me a sense of pride, knowing that I can compete at this level. Thank you so much for considering us. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you need more information.
Thank you, Toby, and thank you for wearing your shirt today. Good choice. Business Committee, any further questions?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to donate $500.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion on the floor for a donation in the amount of $500. Business Committee, any further discussion? All right, let's go ahead to the vote. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries, and the $500 donation is approved. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, Michelle.
Good job.
Yes, thank you for
Good job.
Good job.
All right, I think the last one is Legacy Sports Academy. And this is Michelle and Philip. I think it's the height of the microphone. Philip, thank you for being here this morning.
Maybe take the microphone off the stand so you can hold it.
Double traumatized.
Good morning, Wyandotte Nation business community. My name is Philip Schut. I hope you're doing well. I am a a competitive Little League baseball team out of Northwest Arkansas. I have been having a great time learning teamwork, discipline, improving my baseball skills, meeting new people, and making new friends. I am looking for some help with extra cost outside of team fees and uniforms. I have new opportunities to be in a year-round facility where I can have extra help and put in extra time on my fundamentals. The team also offers camps throughout the year where they ask college and MLB players to come and spend time with us as a team. Having these opportunities give me an edge and help me learn more about the game and techniques. I really love the game of baseball. It would mean a lot of the nation can help support me so I can keep going and represent my community. I would greatly appreciate the Quapaw Nation support. The team manager said they will be happy to put the tribe logo on our team banner and other events advertisement, and it would make me proud to be able to answer questions and let others know that be me being native and playing with other kids give me a sense of pride knowing that I can compete at this level. Thank you so much for considering us. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you need more information.
Philip, thank you. Did a really nice job. And again, I like your jersey.
Madam Chair, I move that we donate $500 to Legacy Sports Academy.
Got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation. Business Committee, is there any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the donation is approved. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, that concludes the donations. We're going to go to open forum. In order to speak, an individual must have submitted the form or must pertain to today's topics on the agenda. There's a 5-minute time limit, 1 trip to the podium. Please be respectful and use the microphone. No one submitted a form this month. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on a topic from today's agenda? Virginia Mouse.
I will actually just share this with you. I'll just give you the copy of the hard copy of the printed.
And we're going to put it out on the social media.
Yeah, and I've already forwarded the email this morning to communications.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing I just want to say as a caveat to that, I would encourage anybody who wants to be on the commission to read the ordinance. Read the eligibility and suitability to be a commissioner, because those things, we consider those things when we consider your gaming license. And I look forward to whoever wants to come and join the show, because that's what it is some days. Thank you so much, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Virginia. We'll get that out more broadly so people better understand the steps. Okay. Barbara?
Yeah, along the line of the renovations of the powwow grounds, is there a plan to do anything about the creek side, the creek banks?
Yes, there is. Right now, that's what that geotechnical boring was. We're trying to get different elevations and working with native strategies on engineering to get. We're trying to get a plan together, an actual rendering, a 3D rendering of a plan of what we're trying to make the creek look like. But there's all these different engineering and architectural steps and processes that we have to follow in order to get that plan together. But as soon as and we're still kind of early on, to tell you the truth, with the geotechnical boring. With the point we're at now, we're still kind of early on with getting a final plan in front of everybody for approval to get it funded, because we haven't got that far yet. But we got a piece of it. We got a little piece of it. But that's the goal. That's the main goal, is to fix the creek and to, I don't know, not only fix it, but reinforce it, because it likes to take a lot of damage during floods. So we're going to try to.
Well, I know down at the lower end, it's even worse than it is up at our end, but
Yeah.
it is washing away quickly.
Yeah, it's eating that whole stretch between us,
Down by the
our
arena.
two. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the plan, though, is to try to fix the creek inside the campgrounds from the edge of the fence all the way down to the other side. So I say a retaining wall, but it's something in that ballpark, more sloped, not so big and dangerous. Like if a little kid's playing on a wall like this, they can fall straight off, like I did.
Like everybody used to.
Yeah.
So what is a geotechnical whatever you're talking about? What is that?
It's just part of the architectural process that they have to bore down into the ground so many feet to get levels. They're trying to make levels to, dang it.
Sediment, ever it says.
Yeah, lost it.
Okay, so if it's not going to be a wall, how are you going to keep the dirt from washing away?
Well, that's part of the plan. We haven't got that far yet.
Because we have behind ours, we have railroad ties, and that's worked for several years, but it's starting to wash away too.
Yeah, well, it washes out and the ties rot out and then it all comes falling apart eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't plan on presenting a plan with nothing but railroad ties. It's going to be concrete and big rock.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just curious because it's been discussed, and I noticed with all the dirt, I was hoping it wasn't just dirt and rocks.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
I sure hope not anyway.
Well, maybe your geo people, whoever they are, will fix it all right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If I may, Barbara, the geothermal company, they go in and they look at each level of the earth, how it breaks down, then what the sediment is, clay, whatever, and then the stability of what it will take to keep that from washing away when we have another flood like we've had that put all the refrigerators down there. I still haven't found mine yet. It didn't have any food in it, though. Yeah. No Easter eggs in there or nothing. But anyhow, they will evaluate all the way down. I don't mean to take away from Joy, but they'll evaluate all the way down and then make a recommendation how to reinforce that so it will not wash away.
Yeah, and the depth was actually supposed to be 25 feet or until they hit bedrock.
Yeah.
Which, welcome to the grounds. Everything's
Yeah,
rock.
without looking down in there, you don't know what each layer is. It can be 20 feet of sand. Hopefully what Joey's got in mind will control future flooding to where it does not wash away.
Yeah, and that's always been the goal as soon as this came up, is to prevent all the camp erosion, to make some sort of retaining wall that's sloped and doesn't look completely horrible, but serves a very, very found purpose to keep the ground from washing out. Just trying to make it to where it's not dangerous for all the little Indian kids who don't like to listen and go down and play and fight around at the creek, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I was speaking for myself. I won't talk for all the others, but it's only because my aunt's sitting right there. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else for open forum based on today's agenda? Grace Good Eagle. Can we get a microphone to Grace?
Just to ask on the displaying of the Quapaw flag, many times the flags are at half-mast because it means that a Quapaw member has passed away. And Wisdom Keepers had made the suggestion some time ago that perhaps people who answer the phone, people wonder who it was, type of thing. And I don't know if that's part of the policy or what.
Because I just went through this last week, so I know, unfortunately, so I know exactly what the steps are. There is a form that the family needs to provide in order to authorize release of that information. We try to stay, obviously there's a need to communicate, but also to adhere to the family's wishes, Grace. And I actually had to submit that form. And I think I think everything happened late last week. And so that was shared. So, but it does require an active step on the part of the family to authorize release of that information.
Again, that so we would know because again, when the flags are at half-mast, is it someone we know, and that kind of information. Also, I would add that the chair had asked the Wisdom Keepers if we had a nominee for the AARP Oklahoma Elders Honors, and so I will speak to the chair after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Anybody else for open forum? Ms. Melinda?
Yes, I really do express we really need a town hall or our own little town hall meeting on that Argo. It is badly expressed. We all need to come and voice. No matter if you like someone, you don't like someone, we need a voice on this. My personal opinion, it needs to be nipped in the butt. That's my personal opinion. Another thing, too, is I am so grateful. I am so happy of seeing our old longhouse being renovated and used, because that's where our old people go. And we need to be able to utilize it and to be able to go somewhere and listen to them, because they still are there, and they're still with us, and they're still amongst us. Thank you so much, Gunagay, on that.
Thank you, Melinda.
Linda, I don't think you were here earlier whenever we were talking about Argo, and we had stated that we are in the process of trying to get them to do a town hall meeting here. We just don't have a date set yet.
Isn't there a meeting in Miami Civic Center April the 2nd for the Argo?
Yes, and that's with DEQ as well.
Get everybody to attend that.
As well. But we do want to have one that's here, that basically so that the community members that are within here in this area, close area, you've got a different dynamics of people that go over to Miami than what will show up here. So we want to make sure that everybody is able to have their voice heard.
On April the 2nd, it is the environment on the Argo. It's the environmental protection that was not there. She used to be there on April the 2nd. So it's not, it's just for her. And so we really need to have our own and make sure they're all here, because it is really vital what they're going to do.
That's what we're working on.
I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. I know there's things we were taught to protect from the time we were born, and they're going to disrupt that. And I don't want that to trickle on us anymore. We already have to deal with.
One of the reasons that we did want to have one here is so that we would be able to get more tribal members here.
And I still say, if you go back to 1833, back to the original allotments, you're going to find where that farmer bought his land from. I mean, you have to trickle down, but you'll find where their family bought that piece off a part of the original allotments. But you have to start at 1833 to work down.
Anybody else? Oh, okay. Thank you, Michelle.
Yep. So yesterday, Family Services had a fundraiser. We had a walking taco fundraiser at the Food Sovereignty, and it was to help us raise some funds to get some things in our area to help with our families that will be coming in more for services and things like that. And I wanted to just take this time to thank you as the Director of Family Services. Thank you for coming to donate, those of you that did. We really, really appreciate it. We'll probably have some more just to kind of help ourselves and be able to put back in our program and get some, what would you say, skin in the game. And so we appreciate your time. We appreciate the ones that came by and donated and just showed their support. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else for open forum?
Madam Chair, I just want to, I just like to share a childhood memory, and it relates to Barbara, the dinners, and the Longhouse. My first memory as a child and first memorial dinner was down there. So it does have a significance in both roles, that Longhouse and our dinners. So just gonna gay and just thank you for those that were there teaching me as a child.
Thank you. That was beautiful. All right, Member Mercer, would you please close us out in prayer?
Everyone that has come out and participated in this meeting for their involvement. We also ask that those that were sick and ailing, unable to attend, that you would bless them, give them a healing grace, and then guide us on our way from here. Keep us all safe, that we can all gather again in another month in the business of the nation. And helping each and every one of us in all our endeavors. Help us to love one another. Help us to have a good heart. Help us to wake up each morning and thank you for the day that you have given us. And in the name of your Son, we give thanks.
Chair, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we are adjourned. It's 10:41, Brent.